We continue our coverage here on the Croisette at Cannes Lions 2018, and I'm joined by Danielle Trevisono-Hawley, Chief Creative Officer at Possible. How are you today?
I'm good. How could I be terrible in this environment? It's pretty amazing.
So I wanted you to talk to you this week. You're one of the big interviews that I was really looking forward to because we're going to talk about diversity and inclusion, D&I. Huge thing, talked a lot about in the advertising industry, the tech industry as well. Why is it important? Why should we be trying to break barriers in terms of getting more people who don't look like me to actually be working in creative fields?
I mean, the best ideas come from different points of view. So the more diverse your base of talent is and the more differences of opinion you have in a room, technically it's better business sense because you're going to get to different ideas. And when you have a variety of ideas to choose from, you're ultimately in a better space. We're in the business of doing better ideas. And the more diverse your talent is, the more diverse your ideas are going to be.
Now, the subject of pay. There's so much transparency now. You can almost look up what people are making at particular companies. There's things like Glassdoor. How do we sort of shrink those barriers so that we're actually making headway? Since the fact is women are getting paid a lot less to do the same jobs as male creatives.
Sure. I mean, one of the greatest things I think has happened in New York and California is they can no longer ask what you made before they're ultimately offering you a new job. I think the salary history factor is a big deal, so that we at least start from a level playing field instead of considering how much can I get this person for. We start to really think about what's market value for the role and then who's the best person for that job. Immediately that changes, I think, the conversation altogether. And I also think that companies, Salesforce is doing a really great job of fixing their pay gap, but they're also constantly doing it. As they acquire more and more companies, they realize that it's a rolling system, because the more companies you acquire, then you have the problem again. So I think knowing the data and actually allowing yourself the chance to go and find out, do we have a pay gap issue? What do we do about it? How much would it cost to fix it? How much time is it going to take to fix that? And ultimately being transparent with your employees and your potential candidates along the way.
Now, what's one thing that we can do to, embrace D&I? One action that you want to sort of speak to the audience about that we can take into the world and actually act upon?
I think that we've certainly come a long way with the conversation around gender. The 3% conference, see it, be it, Time's Up advertising. We're getting there in terms of the gender gap, and then we're starting to talk about how it's not just about gender, it's about diversity. But I think one of the missing audiences is people living with disabilities. And I know it's important to Santi and Nadella, it's important to organizations like Tommy Hilfiger. We're starting to see that it's 1 in 5 Americans. It's bad business not to consider the fact that you're not speaking to an audience with buying power. I mean, it's not just a feel-good thing, it's actually smart business to think about not only gender, not only diversity, but people with disabilities as the whole package of diversity and inclusivity.
Danielle, thanks for joining us here on Future Boutique today, here on the Croisette.
Thank you.